Hey, what's up? Happy almost New Year. Happy almost 2025. This is your pal, Zanhara, is what I'm calling this channel, coming at you on New Year's Eve. I just got done cleaning my kitchen and my bathroom and mopping floors. I don't know, it's kind of like an old tradition with my family. I don't know if with your family or like I'm Greek Orthodox. Hello, the Elas Giannis Greek jersey, and the tattoo for one of my favorite Greek gods and goddesses. That's Artemis, named after my godmother. Big tradition is to try to start the new year off like in the cleanest possible setting, like sort of like a physical representation of starting new and fresh and clean. So I just got done cleaning, which I don't. I don't know. I'm a bachelor, and I don't. I keep fairly tidy, but not really. I don't do that deep dive cleaning like I should. Mostly because I'm super crazy busy, but also it's just not fun. And I try to include some fun in my life. Speaking of which, a lot of you are out and about to get out there and have some fun on New Year's. And like I've definitely had my share of New Year's fun. I'm going to stay in. Thank you very much, and just hang out and get some rest and start the day off fresh tomorrow with the gym session. I had one today, feeling pretty good. Saw the Celtics beat the Raptors by like 50 plus points on the TV while I was getting my steps in. What can I say? I've become the type of person I always hated, and I've never been happier. To steal a quote from a movie called Celebrity from the '90s. Want to quickly touch base about this notion. I'm actually rapidly coming up on the 2 year anniversary of my last drink. This is actually the last bottle from which I had a drink. 12-year Macallan Scotch whiskey, huge single malt whiskey guy. Smells like the greatest caramel you'll ever have. I still love the smell and miss the taste, and I don't know, have kept this bottle for some reason. I don't know, for some reason. 2 years ago, I went to a friend's concert. They played like an early show, like 7 p.m. It was done by 9. I got home. I wanted to get home. I didn't want to be out because I wanted to drink like big time. I don't drink and drive. Not into that. If you're doing that, please don't stop that. Get a driver, get an Uber, call me up, something. But I want to be home, and if that meant being by myself to ring the new year, I want to do it while drinking whiskey. And this was the best way for me to drink the most whiskey, was to like come home, be by myself, and like I think I watched like I don't know, some show on Hulu about a drunk country singer like biopic. But basically, I've kept this bottle since because this is what I did like that night. I drank like probably 3/4, 2/3, a strong 2/3, almost 3/4 of a bottle of whiskey, and I woke up the next day probably drunk instead of hungover, and I think I DoorDashed some food to the house to like feed my dad, feed myself, and then I went back to sleep, and like it's like the day didn't exist. And I don't know if I'm a classic, if I am a quote unquote alcoholic like you read about, but I noticed that I was starting to lose a grip with my ability to moderate drinking. And much like cigarettes, like I've always been jealous of people who could like have a cigarette or two when they go out, and then the rest of the week they don't touch it. That's not me. I'm envious of folks who can like go and gamble $50 and like have a good night at the have a fun night out and about. That's not me all the time. I like to go in, and I like to take it to its logical conclusion, which is often trouble. So 2 years ago, I decided to do a dry January, just a little challenge, maybe a reboot, a reset, like just be like kind of cool down on the booze for a month, see how it goes. and it went really well to the point that maybe you should think that like this dry January, if you're thinking of doing it, I totally support that. It's a great idea. Why not, consider that, the dry January might turn into a dry February, might turn into a dry March, might turn to a dry spring, might turn into a dry year. And for me, it's been 2 years now. And I'm tempted every once in a while. What I noticed was that I no longer had a hangover day. And all of a sudden, I was not starting my weeks at a deficit. Like throughout my life, I've been a casual drinker. In college, peer pressure, I drank to excess like a lot of my peers did. And it wasn't until later on that I kind of like cooled down on that, because in high school, I never drank at all, like maybe once or twice. I had a pretty sheltered upbringing with immigrant parents, pretty distrustful of the world out there. So I was really limited in what I could get away with, right? And in college, I was shot out of a cannon, drank because I finally had the freedom to go do what I wanted to do. And, even after 1 year, I was like, whoa, this is not great. I often found myself, sick and hungover, and, still managed to do decent enough and got my degree and whatnot. But I don't know. I've had periods of like drinking casually, picking it up, putting it down, not really thinking too much about it until about maybe 15 years ago. I started hosting an open mic in Worcester, and it was at a bar, and I kind of took the show over for somebody else who didn't want to host anymore. And the free drinks started rolling, and before I knew it, it was Monday evenings, and I was getting a really good free buzz and having a fantastic time, like all the time. And to the point where I started like scheduling the rest of my week around that. That Monday became my party night. I like doing things when much like the person who likes to work nights, so they can not deal with daytime traffic, or people who like to work on weekends because they like to take Mondays and Tuesdays off, and have their time off when other people are working, like just go against the grain. So I was partying hard on Monday nights for like over 10 years, and I think that really started to kind of get the ball rolling. Like you can sort of develop an issue later on. Maybe it's not immediately manifesting itself early on, but it can. I found that it can kind of develop later on to the point where I was drinking often. By the end of 2018, 19, I was drinking often and heavily, and I found that I had a propensity for whiskey. I had the capacity to drink a lot of whiskey, and really the only issue I had that wasn't just long-term health stuff was that, man, the hangovers were something that I just made space for. Hangovers are only a problem if you have to get up and go to work the next morning. I set myself up so that I didn't really work days after I drank heavily, and probably to the detriment of my career. I didn't lose a job over it, but I probably could have excelled, or been more productive, or gotten in shape earlier, or if that wasn't looming as a part of my social world, my social life, or it was to start off part of my social life, but quickly became something that I think I used to just be an off button, because I was working a very stressful job in the nonprofit industry, raising money to like pay people's salaries and my salary and stipends, and taking responsibility for stuff like that. It was, I think, sneakily hard on me. Like I loved the work and I loved producing the work that we were producing, but I think it was taking a toll to the point that when a big project was over, like a festival was over, I couldn't decompress without alcohol. Alcohol helped me mellow out, and over the course of days, I would like use it to kind of like bring myself off like a manic sort of high work schedule. So over the years, I just noticed that I was progressively becoming more and more part of my routine, and something I accounted for and made space for. And I was probably losing a lot of time and a lot of enjoyment of other simple things. So fast forward to pandemic hit, and I drank probably for the first 2 months of pandemic, like bender style, like whoa. I think that was common. It was a combination of fear and depression and just like not knowing what was going to happen and just being like, well, I got nothing else to do, so I might as well have a few. And that was like the daily routine, and I cleaned that up, thankfully. And that started with walking, and that became fitness, and that became weightlifting, and that became diet, and that turned into running, and that turned into all sorts of like the habits just started rolling. And I made this choice to like, wow, I'm going to drink one night a week, and that's going to be my only night, like somewhat like a cheat day for diets. Like I almost had like a cheat day where I was sober throughout the week, and then Saturday night was like my weekly Zoom call with a couple old college buddies, and we would get toasted, and like I would like go full out and drink 2/3 of a bottle or 3/4 of a bottle of whiskey, and that was the way it was for a year. And then I noticed that like when I tried to like be social and casual and have a drink on another night of the week, all of a sudden it just kicked in physiologically that nope, I have one, two, I feel too good now, so I'm going to keep going. So now, I realized that like, oh, just having a couple is not really something that I can do right now. So 2 years ago, it was New Year's Eve, and that was the last time I drank. And the next day I woke up and I was hungover as all get out. And then I started my dry January, and then it just really started rolling. Like I had a stubborn 10 pounds I was trying to lose, and I quickly lost that without the booze. All of a sudden I became a lot more productive, started making more money, doing the gig apping, and I getting gains in the gym, and like just feeling better. And I haven't had a hungover day since. And yeah, it's a little strange. Now I can like go to concerts and be at bars and be around friends who are drinking. I love bars. I love clubs. But there have been great strides in the production of non-alcoholic options, non-alcoholic beers and the like. I can now drive anywhere I want to go and be out and about and, be with the drinkers, but like know that I can get out of the situation where I want to and go home and be safe. And it's really meant a lot to me. So yeah, man, that's just a thought of the day is that I'm proud of me, 2 years sober. I'm not saying I'm going to be, I never touch alcohol ever again in my life, but like, I've just got a lot to deal with these days, with elder care for my parents, and figuring out what's next after this transitional time. And not drinking has like really helped me kind of like help prepare myself for the emotions and the realities that are to come with changing where I'm going to be, whether that's my city or my career or what have you. So cheers to you all who are going to do a dry January. Do it. Like everything, it takes practice. Even if you don't intend on doing it longer than that, you never know. It could become a new lifestyle. Just take it from me, it could be the beginning of something really awesome and special. So Happy New Year, all. Like and subscribe or share and all that good stuff. And I'll see you later, 2025.